Hello, I'm Ben Gordon, and my case artifact is based on Mr. Thompson's 8th grade world history class. Mr. Thompson has noticed a reoccurring problem in his classroom. Students are having trouble separating civilizations from other social structures. It can be difficult to convey to students that cities, specialized workers, writing, advanced technology, and complex institutions are each components of civilization. Many students struggle to discern culture from civilization. In this lesson plan, you will use the video game Civilization 4 in tandem with various digital tools to show that culture and subgroups are just individual trees and that civilizations are the forests. We begin this unit with Mr. Thompson's class at the computer lab with each student on an individual computer taking a pre-unit assessment on challenge.zoho.com that I've already created. You can see it right here. It begins with a very, very broad multiple choice question on civilization, a short answer question about what the student believes is civilization and culture and how to differentiate, and then some multiple choice, and it ends with the true false. With this pre-assessment, it's the first time I'm introducing to the students the four key components to uh, civilization, which are culture, civics, geography, and people, which will be significantly expanded on this unit. Um, the teacher should immediately tell the students that this quiz is not for a grade. However, it's very important that they try because if there are any flaws or weaknesses in the teacher's curriculum, they're going to need to analyze the results of the quiz, and the students need to take it seriously in order for the teacher to be able to tweak their lesson plan based on this information. Additionally, students should not be using internet sources, obviously, on this quiz. Um, Moving on, immediately after the students have completed the Soho Challenge quiz, the teacher should lead a fishbowl discussion on what a civilization actually is. And it is important that the teacher conveys these critical points. One, the word civilization has many different definitions, even amongst dictionaries. There's no single right answer. Two, culture is, by definition, smaller than a civilization. Three, cultures can grow and exist outside of a civilization, but civilization cannot exist without culture. And four, observing civilization will require students to take a big step back and analyze big picture. From here, your class of students must be divided into groups of five, and every student will go on to Google Docs and create an account. Don't have a Google account, obviously you click create an account, fill it out. I already have one, but every single student's going to create a username and password and sign it up at the front of the classroom on a sheet of paper for the sake of posterity. Um, every group is going to assign a group leader who will have the responsibility of creating the initial document by clicking on create new document, renaming the document to say group number 5 Ben Gordon. If I were the group leader of group number 5, I would go to private, change the Google document to public, and now I am able to invite all other people who are in the group, invite them based on their usernames, and also I will need to invite the teacher in order to tether our accounts together. But by using Google Documents, each group is going to be doing a significant amount of research in the school's library, as well as on their own time for homework by using scholarly sources, library, and databases. Students will also be utilizing Civilopedia 4 to research and define key terms within the four major core components of civilization. And additionally, every single group is going to be assigned a different civilization. They're going to be varying wildly between, Western and non-Western societies. So, say the development of China and the Holy Roman Empire. But what's going to be important is that students use their Google Docs account to data collect and This information is readily available on Civilopedia, but it's definitely worth clarifying. This is what students really should be focusing on, the four core components of civilization, which are culture, civics, geography, and people, as you can see. And this chart just provides a little bit more specific information on what exactly students should be researching about the civilizations that they have been assigned. You know, culture is arts and literature, civics is economic and government, et cetera, et cetera. It's just important that students use the framework that they're given on Civilopedia 4 in order to move on with their Google document and um, collect data appropriately. A week before groups actually play the game Civilization 4, the teacher should print out this guide for Civilization 4, a copy for every single student, and it must be the student's homework, first of all, to look over their individualized section as well as watch tutorial videos on YouTube, which there are plenty of. Each group member will have someone in civics, geography, culture, and people, you know, one person in each of the core components, as well as a group leader who's going to be organizing and journaling what's going on in the game for every single turn. And students should go home and actually research in this guide what their specific parts entail so that they're prepared for the game. Additionally, the group leader has a big responsibility because every round of the game they're going to be journaling when, where, and what is being built, population, money, production, health, happiness, resources, new cities, inventions, and art. Basically, just all of the major components that they're going to need to create a timeline based on what happened in game. Additionally, it is every group member's responsibility to help the group leader with the journaling process. It's the most difficult part of this project. And finally, once each group has played through the game on easy mode and tracked everything, written everything down in their journal, and reflected on the game, what they're going to be doing is utilizing Dippity.com to create timelines. For the final leg of this history unit, first of all, every single group is going to need to create two Dippity timelines. One is going to need to contain exactly what happened um, during their game to their civilization, and there will be a second timeline where students analyze what actually happened to their civilizations in real life and compare and contrast these two timelines. And I have a little example of um the Middle Ages in Europe. And the reason why this is important and I used it as an example is because it created the early divisions between Western and non-Western civilizations. I just want to convey that students should be using objective information and should have interesting and eye-catching pictures inside their timeline. Um, this timeline just shows it goes from the Great Schism to war, feudalism, philosophy, bubonic plague. It just goes to show that there are a real lot of different aspects of civilization, and that any single one really just is, you know, a tree in the forest. Finally, every single student will have an individual assignment in addition to their group work, and this is going to be an individually created Dippity.com timeline about a culture that they feel that they are a part of in real life. This can be based on their nationality, ethnicity, religion, etc. But students cannot insert their own personal opinions, otherwise things will just get way out of hand. But students are going to be relating their own personal experiences to the subject. Um, and the timeline will be presented to the class by each student in 3 to 5 minute segments. And students are going to use their timeline of their own personal experiences to explain the culture that they're part of that they've identified, how it's similar to civilizations, but based on their experiences playing Civilization 4 and the research that they've done throughout the unit, it will also be required for them to state the many differences between their culture and a civilization. And that pretty much wraps it up.